Hey, Jay Carper here from American Torah. I apologize for the wind and the background noise. It's a pretty breezy day out here, and I've got to take advantage of the facilities that I have. I'm working on something better, though, so hopefully I'll have an indoor space set up where we can do some recording before too long. A few weeks back, I talked about wisdom and how she is personified as a woman in Proverbs 9. And I showed how from the description of wisdom in those verses, you can learn a lot more about her than just what the bare text says. It implies a lot of things. In the last part of chapter 9 describes foolishness or folly as a woman also. And the same thing is true here. You can learn a lot more about folly from implications of the text than what the text says plainly. So let me read to you from Proverbs 9, verses 13 through 18. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knows nothing, for she sits at the door of her house on a seat by the highest places of the city, to call to those who pass by, who go straight on their way. Whoever is simple, let him turn in here. And as for him who lacks understanding, she says to him, stolen water is sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. But he does not know that the dead are there, that her guests are in the depths of hell. Now, the first thing it says is a foolish woman is clamorous. So, that part is obvious. It means that she's loud and brash. She speaks her mind no matter what the consequences or what the context, even when she doesn't know what she's talking about. But the second part of that verse, she is simple and knows nothing, although it sounds straightforward, it's really not. It's not saying that she's simply ignorant. It's saying that she speaks from ignorance. It's part of the same thought. She's clamorous, but she's ignorant and doesn't know what she's talking about. Now, let me read to you from a little bit further back in the book. And it's getting even windier. From chapter 17, if I can get there without my Bible blowing away, verses 27 and 28. He who has knowledge spares his words, and a man of understanding is of a calm spirit. Even a fool is counted wise when he holds his peace. When he shuts his lips, he is considered perceptive. Now, it's very true that if you don't know anything about a topic, especially a controversial topic, and you simply hold your peace and don't say things that you don't know for sure are true, you will be seen as more knowledgeable and wiser than you really are. But if, like Folly, you are ignorant of a topic and you speak on it anyways, you don't bother to research before you speak. You tell people your opinion, and you say this is true and that's true, and I know these things. Kind of like posting memes on Facebook. People reshare memes all the time, and they don't have a clue that the things in the meme are actually true, and it makes you look stupid. It reveals you for being a fool, at least on that topic. So, Folly is incapable of verbal restraint, and this is the first major, really, character trait that we can discern from this passage. She has no tact in her speech. She's tone deaf. She doesn't take into consideration the people she's talking to or what impact her words might have on other people. She just blurts it out. She speaks. Where she brags. She likes to tell people about her exploits and all the important things that she's done, whether or not she's actually done them or whether or not they're important. Or the converse, she likes to tell people about her suffering and how the world has oppressed her and kept her down, when in reality it's just not so. She's kept herself down. So the second thing is that Folly takes the easy way whenever possible. She takes the path of least resistance. Let me go back to Proverbs 9. It says, she sits at the door of her house on a seat by the highest places of the city. Now, unlike wisdom, who has built her own house, hewn her pillars and planted her fields and raised livestock, wisdom doesn't do any of that. She just sits in the doorway and she yells at people. We're not even told that it's a house that she built. It's her house, apparently. Maybe it's her husband built it. Maybe she inherited it. Maybe she stole it. We don't really know. But we do know that she didn't build it. Now, when we talked about wisdom, we could see that wisdom would multiply her efforts wisdom would send out servants to do work for her. She would find the most advantageous places to look for opportunities to get her word across. Folly also goes to those high places, but she has to go herself because she doesn't have servants. She's never made enough of herself to be able to have servants. And she's indiscriminate about who she tries to call to her banquet. She just yells at people. And she sits there. She doesn't stand. She doesn't go and introduce herself to people. She just yells at them. The third thing, Folly is disruptive. It says that she calls to those who pass by, who go straight on their way. These are people who have work to do. They're on a mission. They're going about their business. They're doing productive work. And Folly is yelling at them, distracting them, trying to get them to do her thing instead of the productive thing that they could be doing. She hates to see success in other people. So instead, she puts stumbling blocks and distractions in front of people. She would rather see them accomplishing nothing, because if they accomplish something, it makes her lack of accomplishments even more apparent. Now, the fourth characteristic is that Folly corrupts what's good into what's evil. It says, to him who lacks understanding, she says, stolen water is sweet and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. She loves to take advantage of gullible people, people who might not be able to see through her lies and her braggadocio. She talks about all of her accomplishments and tries to impress people with what she knows, except that she doesn't actually know anything. But because they don't know either, they're fooled. They're taken in by it. And I see this all the time with people who are taken in by religious-sounding people. They say things that sound scholarly or that sound profound, but they're really nothing of the sort. They're just somebody making stuff up and presenting it as if they knew something. And so good people who might otherwise be getting closer to God or having great victories in life are distracted and sent out on rabbit trails and wild goose hunts. Misery loves company. And if she sees somebody who's doing something good or who's having a great life, she wants to bring them down to her level. She wants to corrupt good people into doing evil and wicked with her. And she'll even blame them for her own problems. If she's miserable, it must be because somebody else made her miserable. But that's just not true. Most of our problems are our own fault. We create distractions in life to keep us from success. We create problems today by taking the easy way out that come back in spades down the line. So that Folly can believe her own lies, she tries to bring other people down and tries to make them guilty of her crimes also. So that then when somebody points at her crimes, she can point at somebody else and say, well, they did it first, or you're guilty of this. It's just another easy way out. Rather than improving herself and improving her own lot in life, she just tears down everybody else. She likes to color her life in brighter colors than it really is. And she likes to show people that, look at this stolen water and this secret bread that I have. And this is really great. You should try some of this too. You'll really like it. You'll get a lot out of this. Riches gained without effort corrupt people. It makes life seem easier than it really is. And when you get a little with no effort, you think, oh, I should be able to get a lot with no effort. All those rich people, those people with privilege, they've cheated and they've lied and they've stolen to get what they've got. They don't deserve any of that. They didn't work for it. That's the voice of a fool. The fool believes that nobody else deserves the good things that they've got. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But you deserve the bad things that you get if you think that way and if you live that way. That stolen water, that secret bread of folly, it corrupts your very soul. You get a taste of that and you want more and you don't want to work. You could be having the great feast with the wine and the rich meats that wisdom offers. And instead you end up with bread and water and you think you've got something. Life, by stealing and dependency and taking the easy way, it just leads to death. You know, people, you can look up the statistics on this and look it up any way you want. You're going to find the same thing. People who live a life of dependency, who seek out the easy way, whether they're living a life of crime or making welfare a profession, whatever it is they're doing, their life expectancy is going to be so much shorter than people who do things the hard way. Having a secure life, a successful life, good health. In general, those things don't come easy. It takes effort. It takes thought. Don't be like Folly. Don't speak when you don't know. Don't distract people who are doing good. Don't corrupt people and try to get other people to be guilty to make yourself feel better. Don't take the easy way out. It's hard. A life well lived is hard. Nothing worth having is easy. But it'll be worth it in the end. This is Jay Carper from American Torah. Be blessed. You know, she would go to the high places in, wasp flying around in front of my camera.